All right, you may call your next witness.
State calls Annie Kisler-Rao.
Could you get Annie Kisler-Rao, please?
Ma'am, if you would take an oath, do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, if you could, please state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Ann Kisler-Rao, ANNEKISLER-RAO.
Come over to this microphone. Ma'am, where are you currently employed?
I'm employed with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Division of Forensic Sciences, also known as the State Crime Lab.
How long have you been with the State Crime Lab?
I've been there for 20 years.
And what is your current title and role at the State Crime Lab?
I'm employed as the technical leader of the Trace Evidence Section.
And as far as your educational background, starting with your undergraduate degree, do you mind telling me about what you received your undergraduate degree in?
Yes, I received a degree in biology from the University of Pennsylvania.
Did you receive any other postgraduate degrees?
Yes, I have a master's degree in forensic science from John Jay College.
And once you got to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, was there any internal training that you went through as part of your GBI employment?
Yes, I have gone through extensive training programs in each of the areas that I am qualified to perform examinations in. So this includes hairs, fibers, glass, paints and polymers, fractured materials.
Okay. And as it relates to hairs, when the GBI receives a hair from law enforcement, wherever that may come from, are there any steps taken to prepare that hair for analysis?
Yes, typically we will mount hairs on microscope slides. So we'll take a microscope slide, put the hair on it with some mounting media, and then put a cover slip on top to hold that hair in place and use it for further examination.
All right. And let me ask you this. Once your examination is done with a piece of hair, is the typical practice to remove that from the mount and place it back in an envelope to go back to the law enforcement agency?
No, typically we will then package those slides in a slide holder, and then we'll put it in a package and preserve it that way.
Okay. So back in February of 2024, so about 2 years ago now, were you working at the GBI at that point?
Yes, I was.
All right. And did you not you personally, but did the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's Crime Lab receive communication from Agent Elizabeth Bigham?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that related to?
This was related to a box of slides. It was determined that we needed to look at the box of slides to inventory what was present within that box.
All right. And did somebody at the crime lab look at those slides to conduct that inventory?
Yes.
All right. Who was that person?
One of our lab techs within the trace evidence section, Valencia Johnson.
What was discovered upon the inventory?
Upon inventory, it was discovered that some of these slides were broken.
Okay. And so let me ask you a question about ways that things were packaged back in 2001 or the early 2000s as compared to the way things are packaged now. Okay. How were slides packaged back in the early 2000s?
They might be packaged in various ways, but one of the ways would be to just wrap it in paper towels, or it might be otherwise packaged. Since then, we have acquired plastic slide boxes that are a little more sturdy that can prevent further damage.
And so you mentioned preventing further damage. Have there been situations where the slide, in the old way of packaging things, not without the slide boxes you're talking about, gets damaged?
Yes, that's possible.
Okay. In this particular case, after the inventory was done, was there any damage to the slides?
Yes, some of the slides within the box did have some damage.
Okay. And so when a slide is damaged, what are your options at that point regarding remedying the damage?
It depends on if further examination is going to be done with that slide. So if it was damaged enough so the cover slip was cracked and we couldn't really see anything, then we might have to remount those hairs on a new slide. But if we were just preserving the slide to prevent further damage, like in this case, we just used tape on a lot of the slides to just tape it together to make sure nothing further happened to the slide.
Okay. And were you involved in that process?
Yes.
Okay. Were you the only person involved in that process?
No, 2 other hair examiners were also involved.
In the slides that were related to this case, was there any damage noted that compromised the hairs that had been mounted to the slides?
No, there is no note of damage that compromised any hairs.
All right. I'm going to hand you about 9 different plastic boxes here, so bear with me as we label these and show them to opposing counsel first.
Okay.
And do you recognize State's Exhibit 114?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how is it that you recognize State's Exhibit 114?
It has a label on the cover that I wrote with the unique case number and item number on it.
Okay. And so were the case number or item number, would that have been altered at the time that y'all repackaged it or noted in your records in a different way?
No, so it would be the same case number that it originally had. So the slides were originally marked with a case number on them. So we just copied the case number onto the outer container so we would know what's inside that box.
And does that appear to be in the same condition as when y'all repackaged it or repaired it at the GBI?
Yes.
I move to tender 114 at this time, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Yes, ma'am. I would ask that the state establish an appropriate chain of custody for those 3 slides, Your Honor. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Go ahead.
I do have an objection, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
My objection is I would ask that the state establish an appropriate chain of custody for those items under 221 Georgia Appeal, 472 Southeast 2nd, 461, and the case is Harper v. Dooley. And I'll just ask that the state meets its burden, showing the chain of custody before the Honorable Court admits it into evidence.
All right, thank you. Mr. Yalmanchili, any response to the objection?
Your Honor, I believe what will be borne out is that these are the slides, as Ms. Kisler-Rao has testified to, that were part of that DOFS case number, and that these particular slides are the same hairs that Dr. Faust submitted as part of the recovery in the autopsy.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir.
If he can establish a chain of custody, that's our objection.
All right, well, in terms of the objection about admissibility, the state has anything else?
No, I was just
Yeah.
listening. I'm sorry.
Okay. In terms of the objection about admissibility, the state has laid a foundation that is appropriate under the law, and so I'm going to admit them over objection at this point. Certainly, if you all want to argue other things with regard to the admitted evidence, you can. But in terms of the foundation that has been laid by the state, simply for its admissibility at this stage, I'm going to overrule your objection. You may continue.
Yes, Your Honor. As it relates to State's Exhibit 114, are you able to determine where the lab received those hairs from, or the trace evidence section, I guess?
May I refer to my notes?
Lack of personal knowledge, Your Honor.
Mr. Yalmanchili, any response to the objection?
I think that this witness, in reference to her notes about where the items were obtained from in the crime lab in conjunction with Dr. Falzon's testimony, lays the foundation for that.
Yes, sir.
I may have misunderstood his question. I thought he was asking that based on those items themselves, could she tell where they came from? The reason I lodged the hearsay objection is because I took it as, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that she was simply going to read someone else's writing to determine where those items came from. But if she has it in her personal knowledge, the objection is irrelevant.
Okay.
She has to look at somebody else's words to determine. That's what we're lodging our objection to.
Is your objection, Mr. Cruz, personal knowledge or hearsay or both?
So it would turn out to be both if she doesn't have personal knowledge.
All right. I'm going to let you ask the question again, Mr. Yalamanchili. If you want to object, Mr. Cruz, I'll hear it, but go ahead and ask the question again, sir.
What is states number 114? What is that noted as in your notes about what the item is?
It was identified as collected from the victim's left hand and the victim's buttocks.
Okay. States Exhibit 115, do you recognize that item?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you recognize 115?
This also has a label on it with our unique case and item number and that I stated.
Where is States Exhibit 115? Where is that item noted as being recovered from?
It is identified as recovered from the torso.
Okay. And is that in substantially the same condition as it was when you repackaged it?
Yes.
Okay. States move to tender 115, Judge.
Any objection, Mr. Cruz?
Outside our chain of custody, no, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to admit it.
And States Exhibit 116, do you recognize what that is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. How do you recognize that?
This also has our unique case number and item number on the outside of the box.
And where is that item identified as being recovered from?
This is identified as from the victim's left hand.
And does that appear to be in substantially the same condition it was when you all repackaged it?
Yes.
Move to tender 116 at this time, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Cruz?
Other than our chain of custody objection, no, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to admit it.
States Exhibit 117, do you recognize that item?
Yes.
How do you recognize that item?
This item also has our unique crime lab case number and item number on the outside of the package.
And where is 117 identified as having been collected from?
This is identified as from the torso and from a towel.
And is that in substantially the same condition it was when you all repackaged it?
Yes.
Judge, I moved to tender 117 at this time.
Any objection, Mr. Cruz?
Yes, ma'am. And to save the court time, I'll just say to all of the ones we mentioned chain of custody to, I'll just mention that now, but furthermore, no.
All right. Thank you. It is admitted. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll retrieve those from you now. Thank you. And Ms. Kisler-Rao, I'm going to hand you States Exhibits 118 through 123. As it relates to States Exhibit 118, do you recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize that item?
This item has our unique crime lab case number and item numbers on the label on the outside of the box.
Where is that item identified as having been collected from?
This item is identified as containing the known pubic hair of James Barker and the known pubic hair of Chris Melton.
And does that appear to be in substantially the same condition as it was when you repackaged it?
Yes.
Judge, I move to tender 118 at this time.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
It is admitted.
Going forward to State's Exhibit 119, do you recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
And what do you or how do you recognize that item?
This item also has the unique crime lab case number and item number on a label on the outside.
And where is that item identified as having been collected from?
This item is identified as being known head hair of Chris Melton and known head hair of Christopher Hall.
All right. And does that appear to be in substantially the same condition it was when you repackaged it?
Yes.
Judge, I'd move to tender 119.
Any objection, Mr. Cruz?
No, ma'am.
It is admitted.
State's Exhibit 120, do you recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize that item?
This item also has our unique crime lab case number and item number on a label on the outside.
What is it and where is it identified as having been collected from?
This is identified as the known head hair of Ashley Peavy.
Does that appear to be in substantially the same condition as it was when y'all repackaged it?
Yes.
I move to tender 120 at this time.
Any objection, Mr. Cruz? It is admitted.
As it relates to State's Exhibit 121, do you recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize it?
This item also has our unique crime lab case number and item numbers on a label on the outside.
What is it and where is it identified as having been collected from?
This is identified as being known head hair and known pubic hair of Valerie Lang.
And does that appear to be in substantially the same condition as when it was repackaged or repaired by the GBI?
Yes.
Judge, I move to tender 121.
Mr. Cruz, any objection? It is admitted.
State's Exhibit 122, ma'am. Do you recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize it?
This item also has our unique crime lab case number and item numbers on a label on the outside.
And what is it and where is it identified as having been collected from?
This is identified as being known head hair of Valerie Lang and known head hair of Ashley Peavy.
And is it in substantially the same condition as it was when it was repackaged by the GBI?
Yes.
Judge, I move to tender 122.
Any objection, Mr. Cruz?
No, ma'am.
It is admitted.
State's Exhibit 123. Do you recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize that item?
This item also has our unique crime lab case number and item number on the outside of the box.
And what is it and where is it identified as having been collected from?
This item is identified as being known head hair of Valerie Lang.
And does it appear to be in substantially the same condition as it was when it was repackaged by the GBI?
Yes, it does.
Judge, I move to tender 123 at this time.
Any objection, Mr. Cruz?
No, ma'am.
It is admitted.
Ms. Kisler-Rao, thank you very much, ma'am. That's all the questions I have for you right now.
Mr. Cruz, cross-examination.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor. Do we have a box of gloves?
Well,
Medium, extra large.
I do just have it.
Do you have the slides with you?
Here are some of them.
My name is Ahmad Cruz. I have the privilege and honor of representing Mr. Edrick Faust. Is it okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
Okay. I want to make sure I pronounce your name properly. May I have your last name, please?
Kisler-Rao.
Ms. Kisler-Rao?
Yes.
Perfect. Do you have the slides with you?
I have some of the slides still up here.
Is it okay if I approach them?
Yes.
Approach them and grab them? Ms. Kisler-Rao, you'd agree that the state asked you questions about these hairs here.
Yes.
Is that correct? Now, the hairs that the state asked you about weren't the only hairs collected. Is that correct?
I'm not aware.
Are you aware of a hair being retrieved from a power transformer in this case?
I'm not aware of that.
And are you the individual that packaged these hairs?
It was me along with 2 other hair examiners.
Okay. Which ones did you package?
I can tell you which labels are the ones I made.
Please.
I would need to see them.
Yes, ma'am. Let me slide these back in. And court's indulgence to figure out which hair is which. And I'm just looking for a particular slide, if that's okay. And thank you so much for your patience. And these are the conditions, well, let me rephrase that question. This isn't the condition that you put these slides, or package these slides up as, are they?
So yes, we took those slides, put them in the slide boxes, and then packaged them.
In this condition with the slides broken?
I'd have to see it a little closer, but it's possible, yes. So, no, it's fine. So the slide is a little bit broken, but it's still intact, so I am not sure if anything happened.
Policies in regards to safekeeping evidence in a criminal case?
What types of policies are you referring to?
Sure. Quality assurance policies, retention policies, storage policies to ensure that items aren't damaged.
So again, when we are done with an examination, we will package the items away into a sealed, secured container.
And your testimony is that you are not aware of any other hairs missing from these containers.
I'm not aware of it.
Sure. And you have your report with you?
I did not issue a report for this particular.
Well, Ms. Kisler-Rao, during direct, you said you were using your report to refer to the hairs.
No, I was using my notes to refer to the hairs.
Understood. So you didn't issue a report on and if I phrase it wrong, please correct me, but you didn't issue a report to the work you did prepping these hairs?
So I did not prep these hairs. It was just opened and inventoried, and then we might have taped some of these slides, repaired anything to preserve it for future effort. So no actual analysis was done at the time.
I may have asked this question wrong.
I'm sorry. We've got a lot of these boxes open. A lot of people are handling them. I just want to make sure all the slides go back in the boxes that they were taken out of. So if we could do it in a way in which we're talking about one box or opening one box at a time, I think that is the best way to do it. I'm sorry. I know that's not a legal objection. It's just, I think it's something that might be important.
Well, and I guess we didn't talk about publishing it to the jury. They are in evidence, but we need to talk about, are you trying to publish all of the slides to the jury?
The relevant slides to the jury, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to have you put that on the record, which slides you want to publish to the jury.
Yes, ma'am.
I think, Your Honor, the jury something needs to be passed to the court, maybe through the bailiff or from the jurors, but they're trying to address the court about something here.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Yes, sir.
Can we display these on the Elmo, please? I understand there's some latitude about how to do it, but this is not a good way to do this.
I think that would be best. Mr. Cruz, I'm going to ask you to retrieve that
Yes, ma'am.
piece of evidence.
I can do that.
Judge, I'm sorry, we may need to send the jury out so that we can see what fell, what we can recover, and what we can't recover.
Sure. Well, Mr. Yalman-Chile would like to make sure that we have recovered everything. So I think probably that's the best way to handle this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, have you go into the jury room. It's a good time for a restroom break. And please don't talk about the case. I'll bring you out as soon as we can put things back together.
Yeah, do you want some gloves?
Yes. All right, Mr. Yalman-Chile, Mr. Cruz, I'm going to have you, Mr. Bolden, take a look. Mr. Hall, take a look.
No, do not. No. She needs to go.
You can all go observe it.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Please don't.
Y'all may be seated. Mr. Faust, you may be seated, sir. Y'all may be seated. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were standing. You may be seated. Thank you.
Can we ask Ms. Kisler-Rao to step
Yes,
down?
yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, let's go back on the record. We ready to proceed, counsel?
Yes, Judge. State's ready.
We have a motion, Judge. We may need a hearing on this.
Okay. Go ahead.
In regards to these items, we do need to have a chain of custody here, and I know I've raised that objection multiple times, but I'm looking at the glass slides, and I can stand to be corrected. But according to this slide, it is labeled as 2001 1002454, which is item number 12. Okay, this is our case number. There's no issue with the case number. But when you go to the chain of custody report, and this is listed as Q hair recovered from debris with power module. First, Your Honor, that isn't listed anywhere in the chain of custody report. But when you go to item number 12 on the chain of custody report, item number 12 is identified as sealed package, identified as containing power transformer. These are two different items, Your Honor.
Let me just interrupt you for one moment, Mr. Cruz, and ask you this question about a chain of custody motion.
Yes, ma'am.
What is it ultimately you're asking the court to do with regard to your issue, whatever it is, with the, as you articulate, lack of a proper chain of custody? What are you asking
Sure.
the court to do?
We raised the issue. The state elicited testimony regarding these items and the proper packaging of these
I know,
items.
but what are you asking me
The
to
very
do?
first thing I'm asking, Your Honor, is to determine whether chain of custody is proper. If chain of custody is not proper, Your Honor, we're going to move for a mistrial. But I think we should flesh out the threshold issue. And, Your Honor, I respect the court. I say this with utmost respect. Even if the Honorable Court decides to deny the motion, we may still move for a mistrial. A significant number of these hairs, if I'm understanding the labeling properly, are mislabeled. Now, I can stand to be corrected. The state could show me something that may be completely different. But I would ask to have opportunity to flesh this out on the record, if I may.
Mr. Yalman, you care to respond to the motion, even though we haven't gone into full detail, about a lack of chain of custody and issues related to that in terms of a...
I can try, Judge. Here, I'll step to the microphone.
Okay.
I guess, one, there's been no identification of what exhibit it is that Mr. Cruz is talking about. I believe to the extent that a chain of custody challenge is made, and I'd have to look at the cases, Your Honor, but I do believe reading something about needing to make an affirmative showing of tampering, at least some type of evidentiary showing of that. But again, I don't. That's just off the top of my head when you're thinking about litigating chain of custody issues. As far as the chain of custody in this case, with both Lieutenant Liedall as well as Dr. Falzon, I believe, as well as Mr. Newton, who testified about the collection of known hairs as well, Your Honor. I think that the state has met its obligation thus far in chain of custody, and with the caveat that Mr. Peterson is expected to testify for the state as well. The extent of his testimony will be determined by the court's ruling in the Daubert motion, but at a minimum, he would testify for purposes of establishing another link of that chain of custody. I also believe, at least, that there is case law indicating that when you have an investigative agency or an agency like the GBI, essentially the entire agency is considered for chain of custody purposes. But again, Your Honor, I'm not citing these as holdings. I do believe that general principle is correct, though, but certainly could look into the issue further if the court instructs us to do so.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Cruz, are you asking the court to not allow certain evidence in based on a chain of custody argument? Is that what you're asking?
So, Your Honor, that's what I was asking originally when we made the initial motion, just that the state lay a foundation for the chain of custody. Now I'm asking to flesh out, if the Honorable Court will allow, to flesh out the record in regards to chain of custody with the Honorable Court. And probably the way the hearing goes, Your Honor, unless I am mistaken, and I can be. I don't want to stand in my place and say I'm certain. I can be, but the burden is on the state to establish a chain of custody. If I am not mistaken, if there are errors with the chain of custody based on how far we've gotten in this testimony, not just her, but things we've discussed in this trial, including the envelopes, I would be moving for a mistrial at that time. But I would like to flesh out the issue a little bit further on the record first, if that is okay.
Okay, so the answer to your question is no.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't really know what your motion is with regard to chain of custody, but I will just say this, that chain of custody, if you choose to challenge the chain of custody, certainly you have the right to do that if you decide that that's appropriate for your case. What you are referring to is the weight of the evidence rather than the admissibility of the evidence. And it is not... I'm just going to deny your motion on chain of custody. You can challenge it however you choose, but this is not a moment where the court has where the court is in a position to exclude evidence based on your argument that chain of custody has been established or hasn't been established. And that is an argument you certainly can make however you choose to do it. You can always make that challenge, but what you're asking the court is not something the court needs to make a ruling on in the manner that you have asked it to. So I'm going to deny the motion as best I understand it about chain of custody, and we're going to continue cross-examination. The court's question for all counsel is, where are we with the evidence that was on the floor or not on the floor, or did we sort that out?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
One of the slides broke. However, it's my understanding that the mounting did not come apart.
Okay.
The evidence was not lost. Ms. Kisler-Rao, I think, was able to put things back together, and it was placed back in the plastic slide box.
Outstanding. Okay, so we're going to bring the jury back in. You may continue your cross-examination, and I think it is best at this point, Mr. Cruz, if you want to publish to the jury, to use the, well, I call it an overhead projector, but that is not what it is. We're going to use that. And then if the jury needs to handle any of the slides during deliberations, I think we need to talk about how to make that happen. Maybe bring them out, do it in more of a supervised fashion, things of that nature. All right. Would you bring the jury in, please? Thank you. All right. You all may be seated. Thank you. We're back on the record. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. And Mr. Cruz, cross-examination.
Ms. Kisler-Rao, you would agree that the GBI has a policy for the preservation of evidence. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And the purposes of such a policy is to prevent evidence from being lost, damaged, mixed up, things of that nature. Is that correct?
Yes, as long as it's in our custody, we want to keep it secure, and then when we return it to the agency, we send it in a secured package.
Okay. Thank you. I would like to show you, I believe, a slide that you mentioned with the state that you repackaged. Can you identify that slide? Is that one of the slides that you repackaged, or would that have been one of the other two individuals?
I don't know who repackaged it. We all worked together at the same time, so I don't know which particular individual put that in the package.
Sure. But this, I'm assuming it was an agreement that it was okay to put this in the packaging in this condition?
Yes, it's intact and was able to be put in a slide box.
Sure. What year did this take place where you started going through the boxes with the two other individuals?
That was in 2024.
So this recently. Okay. Do you know that these hairs were collected in 2001?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know whether the hairs that are contained in these items are the actual hairs that were collected?
So I have no direct knowledge of the mounting of the hairs. The only knowledge I have is of the slides we received, everything. We repaired what we could and put it back in a package.
You stated repair what you could. What about the things that you could not repair?
Again, we repaired them to the point where we felt that they were secure in their package.
Were these slides relabeled in 2024?
No, I don't believe so.
And I could have heard you wrong. I thought you mentioned during direct examination that you relabeled or you labeled some of these slides.
I was referring to the slide boxes. So the label on the outside of the box that told you what was inside that box. Those are the labels that we created.
That would be that item there?
That's correct, yes.
Can you tell the jury the preservation policy of the GBI when it comes to evidence collected on an open on an open case?
Again, like our preservation is that we will place evidence in sealed packages. We seal them with evidence tape. That's to secure them.
So to make sure I understand the entirety of the GBI policy and the preservation of evidence, you put it in sealed packages and secure it with evidence tape?
That's correct.
Is this considered a sealed package?
Those slides were placed in a larger slide box, and that slide box was sealed with evidence tape.
And were you the individual that sealed that box?
I don't believe I was the one who did the final sealing of the box.
Now I'd like to show you a couple of these slides. You let me know if this was part of the repackaging that you all were doing. Was it this difficult to get the slides inside of the box?
Sometimes it can be, yes.
Does that raise concerns about the slides being potentially damaged or breaking?
No, as long as they're in the box, it should provide at least better security for them than the former method of wrapping them in paper towels.
What I'm asking about particularly is putting the slides inside of the box. There are no concerns about these slides breaking?
I have yet to have an issue with slides breaking when I put them in the box.
I'd like you to put these slides in the box for the jury. Is it okay if I approach you?
Sure.
Would you like some gloves?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
So one of the slides was just misplaced, and it's no longer, I have to take two of them out because it's no longer in order. Okay. All right, now it's back in the box.
This slide here is one of the slides that that was found in that box. Not that one there, I'm sorry. This one isn't labeled. Your Honor, I'd like to show the witness what I'm marking as Defense Exhibit 31. Let the record reflect that I'm showing the witness what is. Let the record reflect that I am showing the witness what has been marked as Defense Exhibit 31. And take your time and look at Defense Exhibit 31. If you would like, you could take the slides out just to review the slides.
Okay.
I'd like to also show you State's Exhibit, well, before I show you State's Exhibit 114, do you recognize Defense Exhibit 31?
Yes, this item also has labels with our unique case number and item numbers of the slides that it contains.
And I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. Can I call this a container?
Yes,
The container that the slides are in, you recognize that container, right?
yes,
And the slides that are within that container.
yes.
And are those slides in the container, excuse me, have the slides in the container been altered in any way to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate package of slides as you remember those slides?
As far as I know, yes.
Your Honor, I would move to admit Defense Exhibit 31 into evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Yalamanchili?
No objection, Your Honor.
It is admitted.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Now, you gave us a qualifier. You said not to my knowledge. Can you explain that? When I asked you, had these slides been altered in any way?
They don't appear to have been altered by me.
I'm trying to retrieve a particular slide. I ask you this. The state didn't ask you to introduce Defense Exhibit 31, did they?
No.
In Defense Exhibit 31, there's a hair in this item that is labeled hair from the power transformer. Is that correct?
Yes, that is what the box indicates, and yes.
And just, you didn't do any testing? I want to be clear on that.
Not on these particular items.
Yeah, that is fair. But the hair that's from the power transformer is a fair and accurate depiction of what you remember packaging up in this device.
Yeah, that's what it was identified as with its label, yes.
And just so we don't confuse the issue with the jury, the hair from the drain assembly is different from the hair that would be on the power transformer that was found, correct?
Well, I might misunderstand the question a little bit. I'd object if it's calling for some kind of comparison between the hairs, as Ms. Kisler-Rao has testified that she didn't do any analysis. If Mr. Cruz is just saying that the two slides are different slides, then I don't have an objection. I'm just not clear entirely what the question was eliciting.
All right. Mr. Cruz, any response?
It was for comparison as far as her looking at the slides, both slides.
I'm going to object then, Your Honor. If he's asked, he already asked, and the witness said she had not conducted any analysis.
All right. Any response to the objection?
No, ma'am, I stand by my response, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to sustain the objection.
Yes, ma'am. Well, in this sense, slide-wise, because both of these will be into evidence, if I could get it out. And I ask you this, can you help me with this, Ms.
I'll try. Okay, which one? On that one? Oh, yes, the only one. Oh, gosh. Get that. Almost. There we go.
I'd like to show you the slide that has been labeled as hair number 12 from cord of power transformer. Do you see that hair there, Ms. Rao? Kisler-Rao?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I'd like to also show you my last question for you. This hair is a part of Defense Exhibit 31, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And I have no other questions for this witness, but I may need this witness's help putting these slides back in, Your Honor, so please forgive me.
All right. Mr. Yelmichilli, any redirect of this witness?
I do.
All right. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. Do you want to just take it up? I can wait until you're done.
If you want to get that assistance now, you certainly can, and we can wait. That's fine.
No problem. Yeah, that's fine.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to show Mr. Cruz what I've marked as State's Exhibits 124 and 125. And Ms. Kisler-Rao, I'm going to hand you States 124 and 125. Just a couple. Starting with States 124, do you recognize that item?
Yes.
How do you recognize it?
This item has our crime lab case number and the item number that the slides came from on the package.
What's located in 124 and where does it indicate that it was recovered from?
This is identified as the known head hair and known pubic hair of Ashley Peavy.
And does that appear to be in substantially the same condition as when it was repackaged by the GBI?
Yes, it does.
And Judge, I move to tender 124.
Any objection? It is admitted.
And then as to State's Exhibit 125, what is 125?
125 is identified as the known head hair and known pubic hair of Tara Baker.
And how do you recognize that?
It also has our unique crime lab case number and the item number that the slides came from.
Does that appear to be in substantially the same condition as when it was repackaged by the GBI?
Yes, it does.
And I'd move to tender 125 at this time, Judge.
Any objection, Mr. Cruz?
No, ma'am.
It is admitted.
And then Mr. Cruz asked you a question about what year it was when these items were repackaged. I think he testified to this earlier. What month and year was it when they were repackaged?
It was February of 2024.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions for you right now, Ms. Kisler-Rao.
Any recross, Mr. Cruz?
No, ma'am, no response.
May this witness be excused, Mr. Yamamochili?
We'd ask that she is, Judge.
Any objection from the defense?
No, ma'am.
You are free to go.